Yo, what's up, guys? This is Dub for Dub Gaming. We got a new hero kit drop today. Get hype. I'm just kidding, but no, for real, get hype. His name is Mont Dan, and he is from the Eternal Sec. He's an attack hero with the green mark. It's pretty interesting. We get another Eternal Sec so soon. We just got Kane, but hey, maybe it's going to help us push further in that faction bis, right? So this hero card might be a little bit different than what you're used to seeing. What I've done here is I've tried to associate all of the hero's skills with his potential damage tags that he could have. So you see here, I'm saying for PvE teams, I'm guessing he's going to have the HP deduction tag, pursue an attack tag, and the control tag. And then for PvE, he's going to be the bleed damage type. So I've color coded this and I've kind of highlighted each part of his kit where those damage tags kind of fall in. And that way we can look at the other heroes' kits and kind of determine where he falls in. I probably won't get into that part. Let's just look at his kit and let's guess where he's going to where he's going to fall in into this meta and an early game. All right, so on his S1, on his basic, you can see that he's doing bleed damage. He's doing attack damage and he's doing attack bleed damage. So this attack damage is going to be it's going to be impacted by like your crit and your crit rate because it's not like a DOT damage type like bleed, which is going to be affected by mastery. So here's the first part, and that's going to be associated with bleed. And then on the second part of his S1, he has a 20% chance to inflict stun on the target. So I'm associating that with control. You know, we're going to make the other team skip a turn. On his S2, again, he does both this attack damage and the attack bleed damage. Bleed being scaled by mastery and attack damage by crit rate and crit damage. And then on the second part, he gains Dark Blessing, where he gains damage reduction for 3 turns, 16% damage deduction. Again, that's pretty powerful, and I associate that with control. I think that Marie has something similar on her S2. So I'm kind of sold that he's going to have both the bleed as well as the control tags. And let's skip down to his S4 real quick. So Devil King's Descent. He deals again. That's a good chunk of attack damage, and this one is AOE. The other two are both single target, and now his ultimate, his S3 is AOE, and the targets will lose HP by 50% of max HP, caps at 1,000 of Mont Dan's attack, and restores self HP by 100% of the enemy's lost HP. So this is going to be big damage on the HP deduction team. I feel like this is going to, it's obviously it reads to be HD HP deduction, but he's going to knock all enemies HP down by 50% and heal himself, and that scales off of his attack, not on his attack bleed, but on his attack. So I think that he's going to have a pretty powerful attack build. We'll probably want to bump that up. It might even be more important than having mastery on this character, but we won't know for sure until he's actually released and we get some hands-on testing to do with him. Now moving back to his passive, let's see, the first part of the passive I have highlighted as pursue and attack. So each time after casting demonic triple slash, which is your S1 or your basic, or using demonic triple slash to successfully pursue and attack an enemy, he gains 1 layer of Demon's Embrace, which increases his attack by 2.5%, up to 20 layers. So he can increase his attack by up to 50%. That's pretty cool. So you can stack that, stack it, and then pop that ultimate once you get it fully stacked. So it's that pursue and attack, I think, is part of where he needs to be. especially if you have other characters that have both pursue and attack and HP deduction. I think that's going to be a powerful combination. Now, for the second part of this passive skill, when the owner when the owned demon's embrace is stacked to 20 layers, the target of the third stage of demonic triple slash additionally loses HP by 10% of max HP. So if you follow if it times right and you can max those stacks, and then this part happens, and then you use the ultimate on his next turn, you end up doing 60% more than that likely of HP deduction on a AoE, and then an additional 10% on a single target. So it will be 50% HP deduction AoE with 10% HP deduction single target based on the passive. This is sounding pretty powerful to me, but of course we won't know until we get hands-on testing with them. All right, so let's come down and look at the exclusives then and see how his exclusives enhance these skills and change the overall kit. You see, it gets kind of messy when we start looking at exclusives. There's a lot going on in here. So on the first part of his E1, we have at the beginning of each wave, it's pursue and attack, but he gains 15 layers of Demon's Embrace immediately. And if you remember up here, Demon's Embrace is what increases his attack by 2.5% and can stacks up to 20. So at the beginning of each wave, which is telling me that this is more PvE oriented, since our PvPs don't really have waves. So you start a wave with a whole bunch of extra attack. And then when it gets stacked to 20 layers, he casts his basic and restores his HP by 400% of attack. So not only is he going, when you get to 20 layers, is he going to restore his HP by a percentage of his attack, but he's also going to do this part of his passive as well, where he deducts HP to one target and then heals himself. No, he does not heal himself. He just does an additional 10% HP deduction when you get to 20%. Then on the second part of this E1, when you successfully inflict stun on with your S1, he's going to pursue and attack the target once. So every time you inflict stun, you're going to build up layers of Demon's Embrace, it sounds like. So that effect hit might be important. It sounds like we need to build up these stacks of Demon's Embrace in order for his passive to really pop off. On his E2, and you see that's a control because it's enhancing his stun skill. So I'm considering that as control. On his E2, we start off with some more pursue and attack skills. When Mont Dan owns Dark Blessing, let's go up and remember what Dark Blessing was. So when he owns Dark Blessing, which is up here, which is when he gains his 16% damage reduction, he will also gain a shield by 20% of max HP every time he pursues and attacks. Man. So his pursue and attack tag is really contributing to his survivability, it sounds like. His survivability, as well as gaining those stacks of attack, the Dark Embrace. And so for this next part on the E2, I'm saying that it's HP deduction, of course, increases the HP deduction effect caused by his passive, and it increases its limit. So it overall enhances his passive skill, the Demon's Embrace. And after Mont Dan, after you cast his ultimate, his S3, he gains 1 layer of Dark Blessing. Again, the Dark Blessing is the damage reduction skill. And then 5 layers of Demon's Embrace immediately. Okay. So you're getting more damage immunity or damage reduction, and you're also getting more stacks towards his passive on this E2. That's really powerful. And then you pursue and attack the enemy with the lowest HP twice. All right. On his E3, you see it's affecting each one of these PvP damage tags. After each ally with the HP deduction tag casts active skills, Mont Dan pursues and attacks the enemy with the lowest HP once. So this is where we start seeing the importance of having 5 HP deduction damage tags for this hero. Because now he's going to pursue an attack with his basic attack where he gains a layer of Demon's Embrace. And he does that every time somebody with the HP deduction tag casts an active skill. So that's how he builds up his passive so quickly and does this additional damage and HP deduction. And then here, again, just to solidify that he needs to have all of the tags, of a full team of tags, when 5 allies with the HP deduction tag are deployed, it increases all of his damage dealt for each one of his skills, and it ignores damage immunity and shield. That is powerful. That is very powerful. And then when any turn starts, if 5 enemies' tenacity, mastery resistance are higher than 120%, Mont Dan will cast Devil King's Descent once immediately. You'll start off with casting your ultimate ability. So I'm not sure how much this is going to play in the meta right now. I don't know how many teams have a full team where everybody is above 120% tenacity and mastery resistance. That's the key for me: tenacity and mastery resistance. I guess somebody could be giving out buffs to their teammates and it boosts up both of those. But from like a base stat standpoint, I don't think many of our builds are going to have that. I mean, maybe like Nikki has, you're going to build her tenacity pretty high, but everybody else, I mean, we're not going to have that combination. So it's going to have to be like an active or a passive skill within battle, which boosts your enemy's teams up above this 120% tenacity and mastery resistance. Off the top of my head, I can't think of anything, but hey, feel free to let me know if you guys know it. So now you guys might be wondering, well, should I pull? Should I obtain this legendary hero? And my answer to that is it really depends on where you are in the game and what your goals are and what you're trying to accomplish. So, in my opinion, from everything that I preach and from my different theories and everything like that, if you are a beginner, light spender, free to play, and light to medium spender and free to play, and you need to be on this E3 new hero path. You don't, or new LTE path. The E3 limited time event character. They are the most powerful in the game, and obtaining one of those is going to really set off your account. So you don't want to set yourself back by pulling on these new characters. You want to save your miracle wishes. And at a certain point, when you get onto this E3 new limited time event character path, you'll end up having excess. And you'll see that, from my intermediate and veteran recommendation. You can pull a copy if you're already, on track to get that E3 LTE. Go ahead and obtain a copy. You're likely needing to reduce your pity anyways, or you're able to. It's a little bit of a gamble, but it's fine because you've already saved enough. You're already on this path, and you can afford to take a little bit of risk. But new players, you don't have that flexibility yet. If you want to get into the end game and really succeed and have fun, you have to stick towards your long-term goal. And you can't sacrifice these your long-term goals for these short-term gains. Now, another big point that I want to call out is, you intermediate and veteran players, yes, pull a copy if you have enough, but you also want to consider if you have enough dragon eyes to invest in them, because it's not going to do you much good to just pull one copy and then not bring them up to E3. Then you'll just have a good hero that's sitting there and not doing anything for you. Um, I mean, that's your decision to make. I would suggest maybe holding on and not pulling, but then again, no, just go ahead and get a copy. That's what I would personally just go ahead and get a copy. I'm going to try to get each new hero release so that I can test them and try them out for you guys. But do what I say, not what I do. All right, guys. Well, this is mainly for discussion. I want you guys to really challenge me on my assumptions that I'm making here and challenge my opinions on this. I mean, I'm a fairly new player. I'm just trying to figure out how this is going to work best. And hey, let's try to theory craft together and see what sort of teams that we can build for PvP and PvE and see where he fits into the meta. All right, guys. That's all for now. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Take care.